so many parts of this process where there's like not an easy fix. Like if you mess it up, you're pretty much back to square one.
Now.
This is the electric guitar, a machine for moving the spirit.
I learned that my good friends, Thomas and Mike, were making some electric guitars, and I, being a guitar player myself, thought that was an awesome opportunity, and Mike invited me to join the fray.
Here we all are. I'm sure more people would join if I talked to any more than 2 people.
For years, Mike, Nate, and myself have all been independently haunted by the same idea, a childhood dream to build guitars from scratch. When this idea came up in conversation, we swore flippantly that we would make it happen. And so, here we were, setting out to build guitars from scratch, with absolutely no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
I'm concerned.
Are you?
It was a little bit off on the base of this. It looked pretty good up at the neck, but so I just really want to double check, make sure before I start making big mistakes. Yeah, before there's no return.
The first step in this misadventure is to create templates for our guitars. These are basically pieces of cheaper wood that we're using as a kind of stencil to cut out the shape of our final guitars.
So we're gonna start routing with our templates. So we'll screw those in. We're gonna fine cut all of this around here, make this look like our perfect guitar, and then sand it up. And the backs will be done, and we'll be ready to start routing internal cavities. All right. Ow, that splinter. I don't like this anymore, woodworking. About ready to quit.
Surprising when you consider the noise they make, that each and every guitar is scientifically tuned, just as if they were real musical instruments. There will be 2 miles of fine wire in each of these music boxes, and a dozen different craftsmen will work on them in turn. All this to make a bedlam of adolescent noise.
At this stage in the process, precision is very important. Just a millimeter or 2 of error can cause serious issues down the line. Every measurement going forward relies on the accuracy of prior measurements and cuts.
Probably one of the most precise things we're gonna do, this next part. We're gonna make sure those center lines are perfectly matched up.
Okay.
And it's gonna just help lining up all of our templates and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I would just say it's...
Just say that the project is a failure if you don't get them perfectly centered.
It's not the end of the world, but like if your grain is running that way and like your bridge and pickups like aren't perfectly on this line, it'll just look a little weird.
Maybe just double check everything now. I was feeling really okay about this step until you put all that pressure on.
Here I thought, I was like, oh, it'd be fun. Make stuff with my friends in the shop. It's gonna be great, but it's turned out to literally just convincing you to do this, convincing you to do that, waiting on you to make this decision. Oh my god! Tell Thomas which way is clockwise for the 500.
With our blocks of wood cut into somewhat guitar-like shapes, Mike and I began hollowing out our guitar bodies, while Nate planned to keep his guitar as a solid body. At this point, the jury was still out on how much a hollow body versus solid body affects the sound of the guitar. The idea is that if the guitar is solid, then the reverberation of the strings will sound different than it will if the guitar is somewhat hollow. But that would turn out to be a fiercely debated topic.
We were just talking about tone, actually. We think it's all hype.
Is it?
From the general opinion, it seemed like there was just a lot of like disagreement on how much having a cavity or like having less wood really affected the tone or the...
I would say it's probably not too much. It has more effect when it's unplugged. Pick any topic, go online, and you'll find 1,000 different opinions on it. So,
which makes me think that like, does it really matter then if like, because one person says absolutely does and then another person says absolutely doesn't. I mean, it's whatever you like the sound of. That's what it really comes down to. Right.
So.
It's all subjective.
It absolutely
everything's
is.
subjective, yeah. It doesn't matter.
Subjective.
It doesn't matter if it's a flat Earth or round Earth. That's what I've been trying to say.
When do you guys have that white pencil in your pocket?
I don't want to like time crunch scare you here. Like that glue starts drying pretty fast.
When Mike had brought this up, I thought it was going to be really a fun, kind of stress-free project. I thought it was going to be one of these projects that you just kind of like, you decompress with. But it's been the exact opposite of that. Like I've never felt more compressed than I do at the moment.
Each of our guitars has a back and front made from separate pieces of wood. With our guitars hollowed out, this intense gluing and clamping situation will keep the fronts and backs together to form our final guitar body.
Look at that.
This is a sight to behold.
What a piece.
Looks like Boromir in Lord of the Rings.
All clamps are used.
Nate's pretty much caught up now.
So okay.
He's not doing any internal. Are you?
I mean, how difficult would
While my guitar was setting, Nate was having second thoughts about his guitar being solid or hollowed out.
I couldn't just like
Good
do something kind of loosey-goosey. That's what Ron Swanson says, right? It's all just, woodworking's all loosey-goosey. The only reason why we do it is just to take out a little bit of weight. I mean, it's not like really heavy.
I mean, it's up to you. I probably wouldn't, just so we could have our own little test on what is
On the sound. To hollow or not to hollow. So many hard decisions need to be made in this process.
This is it, Nate. This is the drama that the people want.
Are most guitars not hollowed out at all?
Correct.
Okay.
Most electric guitars are solid.
Well, I mean, it'd be like any other electric guitar then.
The time-tested way of making guitars?
The time-tested way of making guitars, exactly.
Okay, I didn't know if you were saying that as a positive or negative.
So hard to say. Put the top on. That's adding some weight. I feel like the lighter the better, as far as like how much I'll like.
Playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. So my little experiment, that glue joint I glued, I broke it. Broke the wood, not the glue. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the glue is stronger.
So glue is stronger than wood. So little learning experience.
Wow.
I like how scientific you are, Mike.
Very interesting. I like that too.
With his new plan in motion, Nate began hollowing out his guitar, and I began routing out the newly attached front of my guitar to match the back. With every step we took, the dream was becoming more real, but also more fragile.
It's looking like a guitar.
It's feeling like a guitar.
The grains look good together. Let's get a close-up of this.
As we made progress and our guitars began to take on a recognizable shape, it became more and more obvious to us that as we put more time and effort into our guitars, the more devastating a possible mistake could be. None of us wanted to be the one to have to go back to the beginning of the process and start all over. With this thought in mind, we watched as Nate began the process of gluing and clamping the front and back of his guitar together.
It's not like it dries instantly, but like time adds up. We want to get all the clamps on as fast as we can. I feel his heart rate through the floor right now.
Man, sweet.
So this is probably the first part of the project where I could completely mess everything up and have to scrap all my work. I have the face of my guitar here, and I kind of doodled on there what's called an F-hole. So I'm gonna cut that out, and then it should line up with my cavity that I routed out in the back of my guitar. And so it's gonna give a true semi-hollow body look to it, unlike you posers. If you carve a nice F-hole in there, you're gonna be a better guitar player. It's gonna sound the exact same as another guitar, but you're gonna play good.
I heard from 6-string Sammy on Yahoo Answers that it does make a difference.
Does it? Yeah, I actually got in a pretty heated forum argument with Sammy. People have their opinions and they stick to them. It's too late to turn back. I was thinking for a while how I'm gonna cover this up when I really botch it.
Right.
And
Just sawdust and wood glue, right? Yeah.
Name of the game.
There's something that's cool about like, it's like thinking about an anthill. There's this whole like channel of like this whole world underneath that you don't see. Even just like seeing this router hole, it's like, there's these channels, this tunnel that you made that's all hidden underneath there that only you know about, only we know about. And now you, viewers, know about.
You actually can't legally air that.
Yeah. There's so many parts of this process where there's like not an easy fix. Like if you mess it up, you're pretty much back to square one.
I've heard wood glue and sawdust fixes just about everything.
He gets it.
We would soon be attaching necks to our guitars, which would be the most sensitive part of the project so far.
I went over to the drill press and I just drilled down a good many holes here to hollow out for the neck pocket. So I'm about to start routing out, and better to be safe than sorry on this, because this is the end of the world if you mess this up.
This neck, a laminate of light maple and shedua, a dark Mexican wood, is handcrafted like a piece of furniture.
We decided to buy necks pre-made because if we had set out to try to make the necks, I think we would still be working on them today.
Oh man, moment of truth.
So it's in there real snug. With the neck plate and screws, this will be perfect. It's starting to get real.
Do you guys have names for your guitars yet?
Didn't put any thought.
Yeah, never really named a guitar, so I don't know.
Actually, I lied. I did put some thought to it.
Yeah.
Didn't come up with anything good.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
My thought that I put to it was like how good of a name Lucille is. Like
Right.
BB King really crushed that.
If there's one thing he was good at, it was naming guitars.
I don't know. I feel like a big part of the personality of a guitar is how it plays. It would be doing it an injustice to name it before you play it.
Why do you think we do that with kids? Like kids, a big part of their personality is how they speak, right?
Yeah. Well, I actually think how you name them actually shapes their personality.
Ooh.
This probably looks like a massive step backwards for most people who don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, it looked like we had finished guitars, and now it does not.
Although the machine has helped the craftsman make a better guitar, many operations like this one defy modernization. The binding for a guitar is applied today as it has been for more than a century.
So we basically routed a tiny 1/16 of an inch wide channel around our whole guitar, and then we got this plastic binding, slapped it around the edge, and used some acetone to melt the plastic so it stuck to the wood.
It was about this time that Nate decided he had the coronavirus and fell off the face of the earth. But nonetheless, Mike and I ventured on, staining the guitars with Odie's Dark, which is a finish that leaves the guitars looking natural but vibrant. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it's just some good stuff.
Whoa, that's bright. Can't see a thing.
I'm staring into the sun. It's too shiny.
A pickup consists of a calibrated magnet, which can be 6 small magnets or pole pieces. These magnets are then wrapped with insulated copper magnet wire. The strength of the magnet, the number of turns, and the thickness of the copper magnet wire all determine the eventual sound of each pickup.
All right, so what are you working on here, Mike?
So yeah, I threw together kind of like my basic circuits here. Got my switch, got my volume, got my tone. The next step for here is I have to solder the output jack into the circuit, which comes right after the tone knob. It seems like there's a lot going on here, but it's pretty straightforward. Got a wire diagram, trying to follow that. That's all guitar making is figuring out how to cover up all your mistakes. Woo! All right. How's the weight?
Oh, it's heavy.
How's it lining up, you think?
Looks pretty good. No?
Way off?
Way off. I wasn't going to tell you, but... So far, everything we've done is just the aesthetics of it. Now this will make your guitar either good or bad at playing. That's not as cool. The intonation, that's what I'm truly worried about now. But so intonation is basically, you have your tuning, which is open. Bottom string are gonna be E, bottom and top both E. That's easy to do because that's just all tension. But then for each fret to actually truly be whatever note it's supposed to be, you have to micro adjust your bridge So it is a perfect scale length for the string, your action height, the humidity. It's a bit of a process, a little guess and check.
It's hard to overemphasize just how important these micro adjustments are. It can be the difference between a playable guitar and a decoration. None of us had been haunted by dreams of building a decoration.
I think I'm good.
You can plug it into the amp and rock
Are we
out.
at that time?
I think we're getting real close.
Guess this all started back when I had a dream to build a guitar, but I had no friends. Then I had to go make friends. Still haven't done that. Acquaintances with an equal passion to make a guitar I have met. One of them is faking like they have for the coronavirus, so I'm down to one acquaintance that has a passion to make a guitar. He stuck around until the strings have gone on.
And he actually has the coronavirus, so.
Yeah, and he is, no lie, been coughing up a storm. I'm actually pretty nervous. This is a lot of work and blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. The first note. Whammy bar, that's what I'm missing. I'm very happy. Your turn.
All right. Here we go. Let's try this out. I'm happy with this.
That's awesome. Nate said all of his hardware's in. I'm hoping within a couple weeks he's back finishing his, because I'd say until last time we worked and we got a lot done, he was like within a day of finishing.
That would turn out to be the greatest lie that Mike ever told.
We're back, baby! After all this time.
It's been, how long has it been?
It has been, was it March last year?
It's been over a
Was the
year
last
now.
time?
Yeah.
So it's been over a year? This thing has just been sitting in Mike's garage.
This guitar is the only thing that is keeping us together at this point.
This is my only remaining connection to Mike.
And this weekend, it's over.
It's over.
Everything's out the door. At a point in my life, I was super
It's
into
been 1
making
year.
guitars.
Right.
That is not this
Not
point.
anymore.
So I was drilling a hole in mine to ground the bridge, and a drill bit broke off inside of it, and I couldn't get it back out. So I left it in there, and it is now a part of my guitar.
You have a drill bit in your
There's
guitar?
a drill bit in there.
What? I wonder what kind of effect that has on the tone.
So, more than a year later, Nate was back in the saddle, ready to finish his guitar. Nate is a bit of a perfectionist, so he was constantly reminding himself that a good guitar that's finished is better than a perfect guitar that is never finished. Side note, since the last time we had been working, Mike had bought a new workshop, which came with a house.
Oh, I see now where this is very challenging. The problem is the screws come through the back to connect to the bridge up front. And this bridge needs to be exactly here, and we can't like poke a hole through the bridge to the back. So we need to figure out exactly where those holes are coming through to the bridge. Mike's been training his eyes to see through wood.
Visitors?
Hey! We can almost make it seem like you've been here the whole time. Just like cutting
coaching.
you, like coaching us up on some expression.
Is this like a shot reality TV style where it's like, Nate's
Drama.
like, yeah, one should be good. The show's Mike. He thinks one's gonna be good.
I'll cut to the interview after where I'm sitting on the couch like, hey, I told him he was an idiot at the time. I'll tell him again now.
So my top was imperfect. It came up a little bit. So when we glued it in, we realized there was a little bit of gap there. So we're gonna try to put that into there.
I've heard there's like 1,000 Eskimo words for sawdust and glue. Can't even tell there used to be a
hole there.
I'll let you know I see the tip. I see the tip!
This is exciting. Look at that.
Here you go, Mike. Yeah, this is nice. I didn't even put it in the right spot. Hey, you tried, bud.
Does it look like a guitar?
Oh, it looks like a guitar.
We were all very excited to see that Nate was finally finishing his guitar.
Tomas!
Hola.
Hola! Ready to finish this thing up. 1 year and 3 months later. Finally wrapping up.
Yep.
Hopefully today.
We'll see.
Unless something crazy happens.
Pending.
I started listening to a really interesting podcast called 13 Minutes to the Moon. And it's a documentary of the final 13 minutes leading up to the lunar landing. And so like it goes through and basically digests all of the communication that's going on between like the lunar exploration module.
Quiet
and
on set. Somebody grab the flag.
Right. Exactly. All of
Shadows. Action.
It's just a big conspiracy.
Not a lot of room to play there.
Give these a shot.
All right. Well, if you think everything's gonna work properly.
The amount of times I've noticed in editing this where you'll say like, so are we good to do this? And then Mike goes, well, I guess.
If you think that's okay.
I'm saying, like, I'm leaving you guys.
There's a reason why I'm asking you, Mike.
I don't know. Nick comes with all these big city ideas on how to drill those holes better. So maybe he should be the one leading the lesson. Big city ideas.
I like how you're sliding. Yeah, that's nice. We are in the home stretch, gents. Are we still gonna be friends after this? Or is this the only thing that's holding our friendship?
We haven't been friends during this thing.
What if it just didn't come out the whole
You put it in, it came out like 3 holes over.
I feel like such a guitarsmith right now with the tools and.
That's a word we haven't thrown around enough, is guitarsmith. I was just thinking that if this wasn't adjustable enough and we had to like lower the neck pocket, like I think that's my breaking point, where we had to take everything off and then router this out lower. Just call it quits. Guitars are stupid.
Looks like it should work.
No matter what happens, that looks like a functional guitar.
It's a big moment. I hear noise.
Nice.
It's making sound. Woohoo! Wow, nice. We have a working guitar, ladies and gentlemen.
And so, almost 2 years later, our guitar making journey was finally coming to a close. We had no idea what we were getting into when we started this thing, and yet somehow we had all emerged victorious. And though the process took about 2 years longer than we had expected, perhaps that time had forged our acquaintanceship into something more, something resilient.
Gentlemen, cheers.
Hopefully never see you again.
The friendship that